Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So today we're looking into your Akashic Record and we're looking in a very practical way. We're looking at what sort of energies are coming from that into your life now and into the future across all the areas of your life. And it was inspired by me just purchasing and receiving a new Oracle deck called the Akashic Truth Oracle by Patty Oliver. The details, like all of the decks, are down in the description box below if you like. And the beauty of this deck is it has different areas of life that you look at, and then advice and energy and spiritual insights that come from your Akashic Record that associate with those areas of life. So I wanted to do her there are 6 areas of life that she particularly segregates things into. And there's a particular spread that she talks about using that, and that's what we're going to do here. We're going to do that first to get a sense across the various areas of your life. Then we're going to use tarot and other oracles to look into more detail around it, both esoterically and practically. I'm going to use the literary tarot, not to focus particularly on the stories. If you're familiar with the tarot, you'll know it has various stories from literature associated with the tarot archetypes, but I'm not using it for that purpose, so I won't really focus on that particularly unless something really jumps out at me. It's more that I see the Akashic Record as almost being like a huge celestial library. And in fact, I'll show you the beautiful back of the deck of cards that Patty did. So you see this beautiful library concept here. And I just feel like literary tarot is like that in tarot form. So I felt that was a natural sort of marriage of energies. And as I say, other oracles will be both kind of magical and practically focused, so you get a good variety. But this is what this is about. This is like connecting into your Akashic Record, what Spirit is saying that you need to understand, remember, use, let go of, move forward with, whatever the advice may be. And to start with the choice, these are not cards from the Akashic Truth Oracle. These are cards from the Life Soul Vision Oracle, which you have probably seen before on my channel if you've seen other videos I've done. It's a very spiritually focused deck, and I felt like it would be a good entry point. This is going to be used for your choice of pile, and it will come up at the end of the reading, but we'll be putting it aside until the end of the reading as part of what brings it all together. But it does give a bit of a first taste of some of the energy that Spirit might want to be talking about in the piles. And of course, go to more than one if you want. You may find that you resonate to 3 of the life areas in one and 3 in the other. Do you, whatever you want to do. But in the hope that this will help you in the choice, pile number 1 has Sacred Soul Union. Pile number 2 has Earth, Medicine and Magic cast their spells. And the third one, which I almost sort of laughed when Spirit dealt this one out, Soul Stories. I mean, how perfect is that for the Akashic Record? But they're all perfect, I'm sure, for whatever message needs to come across. So, as I say, you can go to more than one if you like. Choose however you would normally choose. But when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, I've got the timestamps in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Pile 1, welcome to your reading. So I've actually basically got here the structure that we're going to work with set out with the 6 areas that I mentioned that are built into the structure of this deck. As you can see, the Soul Union sitting over here. We'll come back to that later. So the 6 areas we're first of all going to use this deck for are romance, partnership, friends and family, career and business, money and investments, health and wellness, and personal and spiritual growth. So we're just going to shuffle and draw a card for each from the Akashic Truth Oracle, and that's to give us a bit of a sense of the energy across any of those. So this is like a kind of a snapshot across all the areas and to get a kind of broader theme about what's going on. Then we'll use tarot to look at this in more detail and go from there. So firstly, life area, romance, partnership. Follow your passion. If there's something that excites and motivates you, it's a message from your Akashic Record that it can lead to your abundance. Don't silence it. Now, that's very interesting, just to point out, even though we're going to go back to this at the end, that you came to the Sacred Soul Union. If any of you came here because you've met someone, you're in a relationship, or you can feel something like that coming in, I think this is a very big tick that, yes, there is something very special in that area. And, of course, this does talk about abundance as well, and it says romance and partnerships. It could be friendships that are very, very close but not romantic, or something in that sort of space as well. It'll be interesting what we see in career and business and money and investments as well, as to whether there's a similar sense of, yes, go for it around something. But certainly, if what drew you to this is the sense that that, you know, there is a love coming in, or you've met someone, or you think you're with the person who's your sacred soul union. I think that's a pretty big tick that, yes, your instincts are right there. Friends and family. Obligation. Stop telling yourself you should. When you cater to others or unnecessary expectations of yourself, you stop the flow of abundance. Okay, think about this. Is there a balance in what's going on with your friends and family? Are you giving more than you're receiving in either area or in both? Do you feel a sense of obligation that's getting in the way of you following your passion, for instance, or just generally feeling good? Is there any sense between these two where there is a family or a friend sort of disapproval of something, someone that you love, someone you might be interested in? There's a real big question here about what are you carrying. It will be interesting to see whether as we go through the reading, we start to look at some of the esoteric side of this, past life side, whether you feel that you've got karmic ties, karmic issues that you deal with there. But it's inviting you to think about that and whether the obligations are right. Career and business for you, pile one. Trust in yourself. You've got this. You've worked hard to get this far, and you have the ability to create the things you desire. Learning to trust in yourself and your abilities will take you to your highest timeline. So, yeah, again, I kind of get, for some of you, it's not going to be all, but for some of you, there may actually be possibly a romance that also could be a business partnership, or this is talking about some sort of business partnership rather than romance that is very, very about your core passion and what you want to do. And there may be almost like, you know, friends or family going, no. This is saying, no, you're ready. You can do what you want. The other thing I find like beautiful about this is like how many sort of like books there are standing over here, and then there's ones that are a little bit sort of wonky. It's sort of like there's something very unique about this library, and I think it's saying there's something very unique about you and being able to look out and work out what you want to do. So there's already a kind of a sense here that you have a real idea about someone you want to be with, someone you may want to work with, something you want to do in your career or vocation, like a range of things, but possibly you're being tied down by previous sort of commitments or by family views or friendship views. So this is very much a strong, you should be looking at team you at this point in time rather than team everybody else. Life area, money and investments. What's going on in that space? It's a very practical space. You know, what's going on in terms of the resources flowing to you or growing for you. Deception. You're not seeing the entire picture of a person or situation. It may be purposely withheld from you, or you may be choosing to look the other way or betray yourself in some way. It's time to gain clarity. So this could be separate to this, or there could be something going on here. There could be friends or family that are imposing obligations on you, even financially, or what you do, and it's having an effect on you being able to create your abundance, on what you can invest in, all of those sort of things. Certainly if any of you are considering an investment or something like that, check the fine print if you see this. There could be something that isn't quite right, and if something seems too good to be true, it probably is, as they say. So it could be a separate issue, or it could be all connected. There's definitely a feeling here of you being, it's like the sort of sense of counsel of everybody deciding for you, but you're meant to decide for yourself. But if you're listening to this counsel, it may not be the right thing to do. Certainly around money. It's definitely saying around money and resources, really think about whether you should be listening to other people. Get professional advice if you're going to get advice, not the advice of friends and family. Okay, then life area, health and wellness. Gratitude. There's always something to be grateful for, even the darkest of situations. Now is the time to recognize what is going well in your life and what you are thankful for. So even if there is something going on with somebody being outright deceptive or just too controlling, be grateful that you have the passion. Be grateful that you're ready to do things. Be grateful of the friends and family that aren't doing that, because this doesn't feel like everybody's doing it. It just feels like one or two people might be trying to control your life a bit too much. And if you can break free from that, where you are in your life, the skills that you have, and the other good people, including potentially a very good love match, if that's what drew you to this reading, that's all things to be grateful for. And that will help you deal with any disappointments or any sort of issues that come in pushing back on the rest of it. And then the life area, personal and spiritual growth. Speak your truth. You've stayed silent long enough. Speak up, stand your ground and state your perspectives. You will raise to a higher vibration when you let your voice be heard. Yeah, there's definitely something here. There's a very strong indication here. I think for some of you, because of the fact with the Sacred Soul Union, There may well be that you've met someone that doesn't meet the approval of your friends or family, or is very different to you culturally or something like that. And you're going to need to trust in yourself, speak your truth and go forward, even if there is sort of manipulative energy around you. Similarly, if you think that you've found a good business partner, I think if you trust yourself on that and you really, really feel that connection, then that's fine. It's more other people that are trying to put an obligation on you, because this feels as though it's saying it's a good connection. The only thing I would say, though, is that if you have any inkling in a passion that you've got that there might be something not quite right about it, then be careful. It's not necessarily listening to everybody else, because everybody else's views are, by the looks of things, more about what they want from you than what they want for you. Trust yourself and your instincts. Speak your truth. But there is, just that if this is not around the people in your friends and family group, or it's not around people in your career that they think they know better than you, if it's around a connection, then there is always an importance to make sure that you certainly don't involve your finances and your resources and so forth till you're very sure. But I think by and large, the love connection, if there is one, looks good. It's other views and people that get something out of either you being single or you being with a different sort of person or whatever it might be. So this is really a big call for you to go with your passion, trust your instincts, and not let other people dictate anything in your life, even if it's just very subtle. I mean, I'm not necessarily thinking everybody who's coming here just lives by their life by committee, but there's something where there's some energy around you which is trying to make you feel obligated, make you feel that you owe them something or that you should do what they want. And they may outright be trying to get something from you that's illegitimate. So there's that to be aware of. So now we're going to drill into what's really going on, because this is really more advice for the Akashic Record to say where you're up to and the energies that are around you. So now we're going to ask a little bit more about the core themes that are coming from your Akashic Record at this time. So a little bit more detail on that with the tarot. So we have the 8 of ink, which is the 8 of wands, I believe. Yes, I just paused there for a second to check. It's a while since I've used this deck, and I forgot that it's minor arcana have slightly different sort of attributions for the different elements. But yes, that is the 8 of wands. The lovers. It's definitely something about relationship in this situation. The 8 of light, which is the 8 of cups. Strength reversed. 2 of cups reversed. And the 10 of pentacles. Okay. This is very much showing like around your career and money and so forth. You should be doing very well. Any relationship that you care about and is a true sort of heart match is for the long term. But it is suggesting potentially that your choice around emotional things, with the 2 of cups effectively next to the 10 of parchments, is very much impacted, I'd say, by family more than friends, or very long-term friends. It's sort of like there is sort of something there about you taking your own mastery here. It's saying there's some patterns that you've had where you have given up on things that you cared about before to give the choice to others, so there was approval. Now, this could be very subtle. I'm not sort of saying, I think very strong, self-aware people come to my reading, so I'm not sort of saying this is a major thing. It's just that it's there at the moment. It's important to not get manipulated by an energy where you have that sort of tendency of saying, okay, like to keep the peace or to keep everybody happy, I'll kind of let go of things. This is saying there's something that's meant to move forward, whether it's a passion project, a great connection with somebody, or a love relationship. Eight of wands, it's meant to move forward with the lovers, and you're meant to make the choice. It's interesting that the 2 of light reversed here, the 2 of cups reversed here with the 10 of pentacles, I think is showing a past pattern. It may even be connected to past lives as well too, where family, tradition, what is expected of you, culture, whatever it is, has had more of an impact than it should. But I feel like it's a diminishing impact, because here we have the two of cups reversed, whereas we have the lovers upright. There's something about this, something that you're passionate about, a person, a partnership in some other way, a step in your career, whatever it is, you're passionate enough and you know enough to be able to go forward and make your own decision, rather than give up your strength and give up what matters to you to be approved of by others. This could do anything. It could be that you actually call out a kind of controlling deception that has been around you. You say you're not going to choose for me anymore. It could be that you leave a workplace, for instance, if this isn't so much about love but is about career and moving forward, and you go, now I'm going to do my own business, or I'm going to go and do the thing I've always wanted to do. I'm ready to do that. In the end, I think, even though this is partly talking about the diminishing impact of existing structures, I think there's also a sort of dual message here about moving quickly towards your own sense of security, your own sense of legacy. So this is quite a pivotal time for you, Pole 1, around speaking your truth, following what you want in terms of passion, and creating that. Like, it's almost like even if it's about a love relationship, it's almost like that creates a momentum that then impacts your career, impacts money, all that sort of thing, and it separates you out from energies that have been a little bit exploitative, to be honest, or controlling or manipulative in some way. So let's see what is based on past life or past actions. What part of this, your Akashic record, is sort of really showing your past energy, as opposed to what the Akashic record is sort of energetically suggesting you move towards. So let's explore the past a little bit more for you. We have the 7 of Pentacles reversed, the 9 of Swords reversed, the 5 of Swords. Yeah, there's a pattern here. The 10 of Swords reversed, and the 3 of Parchment. Okay. I think that both may be past actions in this life, but I think also past lives. There's been a lot that you've done that has relied on being with groups, collaboration, being part of something. This is not to say it was wrong. At that time, it was probably right. It looks like, there have been some very good past collaborations, past teams, and so forth. And maybe they were also, it almost feels like a life or some lives where you formed a number of different coalitions when it was necessary. With the 7 of Parchment reversed, it's sort of like 7 of Pentacles reversed. It's kind of like there wasn't a long-term outcome. It was more what was necessary at the time, because it looks like there was a lot of drama. Like, I wouldn't mind betting actually that quite a few of you spend a lot of time in sort of war situations or spy intrigue sort of situations, or like the politics of a medieval court or whatever. There's a lot of energy from the past that has to do with knowing when to walk away from battles, and it's very much strategic. This is strategy rather than being in the battle. It's like it's more like if you were in a war situation, you're more like a general who made a decision about when to fight and when didn't. It's a bit Sun Tzu, actually. But it was almost like you had to kind of keep creating different coalitions. Like, feels political as well. Maybe this has occurred in this life too. So I think what it's saying is that you're bringing in an energy where what you were going to do strategically and need to do very much depended upon who you had alliances with. And I think this is the past energy that's leaving, because there's something now with you moving forward with your skills and so forth where the alliances of others are not as important as what you want to do. And in fact, to stay in that energy is to stay in an energy that probably was a bit deceptive and manipulative. You're more than capable of dealing with it. This is what I kept thinking, feeling like it's sort of saying, like you could be a victim, but I didn't feel the victim energy from you. And this might be also the gratitude that these sort of experiences, and even this past life experience, it makes you be really alive and understand this in a way that others who are maybe a little bit more innocent may not know. But I do feel like you understand that environment, and it's been instilled in you a bit that the coalition of interests is always important. But this is saying, no, now you're moving forward to something that is more yours. So let's see what is more future focused in this advice. Why is this coming up from your Akashic record now? The Knight of Swords reversed, the Devil reversed, the Death card, choice, your own choice, very important here. King of Swords reversed, and the 10 of Wands. Yeah, there is a burden around things that are not right for you anymore, that you are being invited to look at. So this is like it's saying you have everything you need to move forward and create what you want. Love, relationships, the right partnerships, career, money, all those things. But you're in an environment or a situation where there's actually a lot of deception, a lot of manipulation. And the future is to recognize that and say enough is enough. I'm getting rid of that burden. I see it as a burden. I'm going to make the choice. And this is the thing. I'll make the choice about who I connect with rather than do what the coalition of interests wants. That's what this is saying. This is about freedom. You're meant to be freed. You don't have to rush into it. You can still be strategic, but you are meant to be free from the views of others when they don't support you. Because there's something about it. It may well have been in other lives or even earlier in this life that some of those coalition of interests did actually mutually support you, but there's something about this where this would hold you back. And it's really important for you to choose. So that's why you came here. And I do think with the Sacred Soul Union, for some of you, this is about a relationship and owning that relationship. So what I want to look at is some advice for you then in moving forward with what the future is asking you to do and understanding the past. So there's different oracle decks I thought would tell us different things in that space. Firstly, I just want to get a couple of insights from a past life oracle for anything else from the past that you also have in your kit bag or that gives us more information about this, that's there in your Akashic Record that you can draw upon to move forward to more autonomy and more choice, because that's what this is all really about. So we have the Herbalist Garden, a connection to the healing power of plants, a nurture of life, or a wise sage of the natural world. So I think this would be saying if some of this is stressful or whatever, think about sort of natural remedies, things that can make you feel balanced and sure. I mean, it's almost literally, I could literally see some of you doing something like a garden because it's a peaceful space that just you do and you can commune with nature. But you've got a healing energy within you, and so that you can use that if you need to. And the Peasant's Plough, toil and connection to the land, resilience through hard work, or as a sustainer of common faith. Okay, I think this is saying that many of your lives were very political, very strategic, war, power, whatever it might be. And there's probably something about that now, or making money or your career. But there is also within you a very strong connection to nature. And you understand, I mean, I think you do have a real thing, like to your family, to your community. You have that sort of thing, and that might be explore the obligation. If it is amongst equals and is nurturing, that's one thing. But if it is more political and so forth, and it's more about power and control, then move away from it. You do have a sense from some other lives about what really authentic connection is. So use that energy, that insight and that experience and knowledge about really getting back to the land, and it maybe is saying get into nature. If you're not sure, just get into nature, because you have lifetimes that will give you that kind of advice and that kind of energy and that kind of memory, because it's very complex what this is and it's very intellectual, but you also have had a lot of kind of like life energy, which is more of the people and of the land, and that's going to be valuable to you here. So let's have a look at the magic that you have to bring in. Epiphany, reveal your gifts. Yeah, this is meant to be an epiphany. And then your gifts, trust yourself. You go forward with your passion. There may in fact even be, I think when you see something like the epiphany to reveal your gifts, you may have been kind of held back by convention in some way. Oh, you couldn't possibly do this because you don't have the qualification. Oh, you have to work for 5 years at that level before we could possibly think about promoting you. You actually have gifts and a kit bag that is much bigger than possibly is being recognised. And if this is around love, as I say, if you instinctively feel this is, the Sacred Soul Union, then understand you have the gifts to see that, because you have this breadth of experience across lives, from the most connected to the community and the land to the most sort of like rarefied levels of sort of politics and power. So believe in yourself on that place is something that this is really trying to say. Let's also look at chakra balance for you moving forward. Going to get a couple of chakras to see what is working well for you or what you need to bear in mind when taking this advice on. So firstly, solar plexus, balance. I do have healthy self-esteem. Good. That's why you're ready. Just don't let them get in there. Remember that you have everything that you need. Nobody, if they criticize you, it's about them. It's not about you. And sacral chakra, balanced. I feel creative. Beautiful. You feel ready to move forward and do what you want to do, follow your passion. You're in the right space too for a good and healthy and appropriate relationship as well, if this is what this is about, like in terms of your kind of sensual energy, and also your self-esteem. So that's great. So it's all saying you're ready. Don't listen to anybody else. You're ready. So let's also get you some star guidance as well. Saturn, discipline, maturity, structure, leadership. Okay, this is kind of over here and over here. I think this is how you use Saturn. It might be useful if you know your chart to look at Saturn. Are there any planets that are very well aspected? Use those energies to help you create what you want, your own legacy, your own dynasty, your own family, that kind of thing. If you have afflicted planets to Saturn, think about how they might be controlling. Like, how do they let the control in? So if you had Saturn in a difficult aspect to Venus, it could be that those who are older or who have power around you use love and relationship energy to control you. So it's worth thinking about that. But this is also about karma. So this is really saying that you're at a particular point. The time has come. You've done your karma that you need. You've understood and done what you needed to do to move forward. So you've taken the time for it. And it's also saying, again, you can take your time with this. Saturn doesn't rush anything. And Earth. Grounding, reconnection, home, guardianship. That's why this is important. You're very grounded. A lot of the people who might try and influence you are not grounded. If you start to think about how they're not grounded and how they're not thinking, they're thinking of groups or traditions or whatever rather than the broader earth and how we all connect, you're going to start to understand who to trust and who not to trust, I think, that way. And you're very grounded. You know what you're doing. You're very practical, which is really helpful. So lastly, before we close out the reading, go back to this and get you some signs and symbols. I also want to get 3 cards from the Straight Talking Tarot, which is not a tarot, but a deck that just tells it like it is. So this is anything else that Spirit wants you to think about in taking on this advice. So firstly, positive vibes. You're going to experience some negative vibes around this. Don't let that get in the way, but know that it's going to happen. Well, I think you do know that. Some people are not going to understand or accept. And that could be all it is. It also could be people who really try and sort of negatively influence you. If you're aware of it, you can almost, just like the seashores there, you can wash that away as well. Maybe you don't have your goals set yet. Certainly it's saying don't let anybody push you away from your goals. But if you aren't sure now, if you kind of know, yeah, I do feel a little bit like others are sort of influencing me too much, but I'm not sure. I mean, I've got a kind of passion, or I've just met someone, or I'm just thinking about something, but I haven't really worked out what it is. Use that mind of yours, that strategic mind of yours, and the grounding earth sort of energy to structure your goals, to understand it. Spirit is sort of saying that could be a weak point that they could come in on if you aren't really clear what you want. So if you're just thinking, I just want to get away from them, but you don't know what your goals are, it makes it easier for them to manipulate you. If you have an idea of your goals, it's a lot harder for them. And you might also have some challenge staying focused. I think these are all the challenges. If you haven't established your goals, if you're finding it hard to stay focused and finding it hard to stay positive, these are all the ways that they might sort of come in. I think that's what it's saying. So be aware of that. So have your goals, be focused on them, stay positive, don't listen to the rest of it, then you will be fine. So let's go back to the beginning. So sacred soul union. I do think that a relationship or relationship energies are very important here. I think there's at least one positive one. At least one positive one. This is not a card that suggests, this is not the energy of the committee of no, which is sort of up there. This is something that really matters to you. So I think that there is either a very important person in terms of a soul contract for going forward and doing something positive, or this is about love. Either way, remember, Spirit has been saying it is time for that to be manifest. So don't doubt that. So then we're going to just finish off with a couple of cards. I'll just put that in the center. A couple of cards from the Lucid Dreams Metro deck for signs or symbols for you to help you in achieving your goals here and clarifying what your goals are and achieving them. So firstly, we have stove. Love, romance. Yeah, look, right from the beginning, I think a lot of this is about love, the right partnership and so forth. I think many of you, this is what it's about. It doesn't have to be, though. It could be other sort of things in terms of new ideas, creativity, passion, opportunity. It's going right back to that. It's saying this is the key one. You are meant to bake your own cake. You are meant to find your own recipe. But a recipe also combines elements, and I think there is a combination of elements here with another person that is going to be key to this in some way. And square or rectangle, stability, structure, logic, inhibition. So don't be inhibited. But I think beyond that, it's like, yes, Saturn. There is a structure. This is why being focused, having goals, it's important for you to know that. In past lives, you've been very strategic, or you've been very clear on what you had to ground and create. So there is something here about creating that, creating a solid foundation, getting the right recipe, but it has a lot to do with love, I think, or a very important relationship in any case, a very important karmic relationship. So I think overall you're coming into a very, very good time, but there is a bit of a risk of others trying to either exploit you or stop you from jealousy or from misunderstanding or whatever it might be. But Spirit is saying you're ready. Just go forward with what you know. You've got all the energy. Your Akashic Record is saying that you're not meant to take on karma that's going to slow you down. You're meant to sort of move towards what you want. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading. So here we have the 6 areas of life that I mentioned in the introduction. We also have the card that brought you here, which we'll return to at the end, around earth medicine and magic and casting the spells in that space. So something about magic, manifestation, or whatever is associated with this. Something very electric too. But we'll go back to that at the end. What we're going to do is we're going to shuffle, and for each of these areas, so romance, partnership, friends and family, career and business, money and investments, health and wellness, and personal and spiritual growth, for a card from your Akashic Record with advice. And that will give us a bit of a sense about where you're at, where the sort of strengths are, where there might be things that you need to be aware of. Then we are going to go into this in more detail with tarot. But firstly, romance and partnership from your Akashic Record for where you are at the moment in your life review. Pile 2. We have take charge. You're taking a back seat in a relationship or situation, and it may end up costing you time, money, or opportunity. You need to step up and regain control once again. So, this could be about a romantic relationship where you are feeling blocked, or it's not going the way that you want it to, or you're feeling that the other person is making all the decisions. It could also be in a partnership beyond romance, because it's romance and partnership. It could be in a friendship, even a work or business partnership. But this is definitely a message about getting back in the driver's seat. There's sort of something where maybe you're letting others make all the decisions and it's not helping you. So that's something to be aware of. Friends and family. Acceptance. You may be disappointed with a recent outcome. Remember, if one door closes, you are being redirected to one that will soon open to your true soul path. These things could be connected. If it's not a love relationship this is about, then a friend or a family member that you had a partnership with may be disappointing you by being too bossy or not wanting to see your point of view, or they could be quite separate issues. But it feels like a friendship or some issue with a family member. You need to kind of accept and understand either that you need to just move away from it completely, or at least for a time, because it just looks like something, it looks in general like relationship areas are important. And if you're thinking about the magic, it might be the magic to be able to disconnect and take charge of your own life again, rather than letting other people influence it. There was a little bit of a similar energy in one of the other readings, so some of you may have come to more than one. Life area, career and business. Stand your ground. There is something you want to fight for, yet you are choosing to hide instead. Create a boundary and speak up for what you believe in. Yeah, there's something really, I would say, it's possible this is around a romance relationship, but I actually think for most of you, there is some sort of business career thing that probably includes like friends at work or friends in management or whatever, or family or something like that. There's something where you're really being asked to sort of stand up for yourself and take charge again. It like something you've almost yielded your power, but you have a lot of power. So it's how you actually use that. You may have actually done it because you're a bit ambivalent about your power, actually. We'll see what we see going forward. Some people are very powerful, particularly magically, are a bit ambivalent about it. So they might kind of let others sort of take the lead and then they just support it. But you're not meant to be, like what I'm going to use, you're not meant to be in the second row seat. You're meant to be in charge, leading out on something. In fact, I'm getting, like, for some of you, it's interesting, will show up in the tarot around past lives, but that maybe some of you are very magical, and you've had past lives where you've used that magic in support of the goals of powerful people, because that through history was done a lot. But it's saying now you're meant to actually go forward with your own, I think. Let's have a look at money and investments. Walk away. You're wasting your precious energy on something that will not bear fruit. It's time to turn your attention to things more aligned to your soul's purpose. Yeah, look, there's something around career, business, money. This is like taking charge and standing your ground probably means that you need to walk away from what isn't going to work. And there might be some financial connections with this, or it just might be a general energy, like make a decision about what you can take charge and move and change, and what is just not worth the fight. Okay, life area, health and wellness. Honour yourself. Recognise the hard work you've put in to get where you are today. Instead of thinking how far you still have to go, remind yourself of all that you've accomplished and be proud. Yeah, you're strong. You've got magic. Therefore, if something is not going to allow your viewpoint, or where you're always fighting, accept that maybe that's the case and walk away from it. Honour yourself. Don't stay in situations that aren't going to honour you. But if you can turn around, fine. But I do think that there's sort of something here where a relationship, a connection, something like that is not probably going to allow you to be mutually powerful within it. Let's see life area then for personal and spiritual growth. Forward movement. You've taken new empowered action in the direction of your dreams. Keep going. Identify tasks to reach your goals, including personal shifts such as mindset and release of emotional triggers. Yeah, I think for most of you, because of what card turned up here, there's a lot about friends and family that are impacting you around your sense of relationships, your sense of career and ambition, the resources that you have. But this is saying you kind of come to that conclusion. You're ready to move forward. You're ready to let go of the emotional triggers that those sort of relationships can have. And if they listen and let you stand your ground and honour yourself, that's one thing. But if not, you've got to be ready to move away, even if it's a bit uncomfortable. So, wow. Okay, so let's see what we get with tarot. So we're going to get a little bit more about the core theme of this message from your Akashic Record. Then we're going to look at how the past, including past lives, have influenced this. And then we'll look at what the future focus is for it. So firstly, a little bit more about what's going on here. Death card reversed. 10 of Pentacles reversed. 10 of Swords. Wow, yeah. Queen of 10 of Wands, sorry. Queen of Swords. Queen of Cups. 3 of Cups. Okay, this is showing a trajectory. This is showing right now that you are not being given choices in sort of something established, maybe something around family. Family probably more likely than friends, to be honest, when it's the 10 of Parchment or 10 of Pentacles. There is a situation right now where you're unlikely to have the choice. You know, you can certainly stand up and say your piece, take on the burden and do it, and be really clear. And like, honestly, I wouldn't like to be the people at the receiving end of what you say, because you will be very clear, you'll be very fair, and very, very difficult to argue with, because you will be able to articulate the unfairness of a burden, or that this energy is exhausted now and it needs to be moved away from. So very, very powerful on that level, very, very clever in what you do. But it's like, this is inevitable. There's an ending energy here. But that is to allow you to be more true to your heart and to be able to celebrate with the right people. You know, honour yourself and find the right people, this forward movement. So there's actually a trajectory going on here. It's saying this is a recipe for something to do. It is, you know, knowing who you are, standing your ground, speaking your truth around it, and being prepared to walk away. And in some cases you are going to walk away. In others you'll clarify things and shift it. It sort of depends on who comes to this reading. But either way, you move to articulating what you want and being really authentic about it, and therefore there will be celebration out of this. So there's a good outcome, but it's a little bit of a pushback energy you have to do. So let's see what past energy, like past within this life and past lives, that's brought this up from your Akashic Record? Why is this a core theme at the moment in terms of the past? Ace of Wands reversed. Two of Swords reversed. Six of Cups. The Star. And then the King of Cups reversed. Okay. I think most of this is actually from this life. I mean, for some of you might go, no, I don't recognise that, but I recognise the feeling, and it might be from a past life. But I feel for most of you with this, with the Six of Cups, a lot of this is from something in childhood. This is why family, something to do with family is very important here. I think when you were young, you knew who you were and you knew what you wanted to do, and you were a real star on that level. But I think that you weren't able to have the choice. You weren't able to kind of creatively manifest it for some reason. And with the King of Light reversed here, the King of Cups, either there was a parental figure, most likely a male parental figure, but it doesn't have to be, that suppressed what you wanted to do, did not agree with what you wanted to do. You know, you might have wanted to be an artist and something like that, you know, and a star of stage and screen or whatever, and then the parental figure went, no, that's not practical, and just squashed it. Or there was a wounding that happened very early around that. It's interesting. What I sort of feel when I look at the scent cards there, I've often talked about a book called The Soul's Code by James Hillman. And it's a book about really that when we're very young, our higher self knows what we want to be. And it's sometimes frustrated because either parents and school doesn't align with that, or more to the point, even though we may want to be, you know, a virtuoso in some way, our body and our knowledge at that point, because we've got to go through the maturation process, isn't quite there yet. So I feel like there's something like that for you, and I feel like it's in this life. But you're meant to now stand your ground and move forward for what you want, and walk away from anybody who is a naysayer, because you're ready to move forward. But if you don't relate to that, then it happened in a past life. You were very, very creative, I think, very, very performative. I feel like that about you. You're very vibrant. You know, you're meant to be a star. I really think that. I mean, star can mean many things, but in this I'm feeling that very much. It's very creative in some way. And magical with the card that came here. But I feel like that was squashed. You're meant to now move forward with that this time. So let's see what is Spirit saying about the future focus of this. Seven of Pentacles reversed. Seven of Swords reversed. Four of Cups. The Fool, going on the new journey, back to the star, basically there. And then the Page of Cups reversed. Okay. So it's saying that quite a lot of what's going on right now is sort of internal. It's saying that there is a new direction to go in. That's in the external world with the Fool. But the rest of this is very internal. We're looking primarily at Minor Arcana, one court card there. What it's asking you to at the moment is to be very realistic about what is not going to work going forward for you. What is not a good investment, what is not a good time, you know, all of that kind of thing. Walk away from that. Be very realistic. Be even cold-blooded about it if you have to. The way to know is what is feeling emotionally blocked, because, you know, or where you're being emotionally blocked, where somebody's trying to stop you doing that using emotional blackmail or something. It is important to think about what do you want things to feel like, because you've almost suppressed that from childhood when there was a disappointment. So it's like reawakening what you want it to feel like, and then having the courage to just move forward, because you really do have the skills, but you've got to do something very different. Like this feels like you've been in a situation, whether it's a relationship, a work thing, something around your family. A lot of this is around family, I think, but you know, not for everybody maybe who's come here, but there's something where you've kind of got used to doing what others are saying you should do, or what others have expectations or whatever, and maybe not even believing in your dream anymore. And as a result, it's like whatever this thing was, you didn't pursue it. You didn't really pursue it at all. So I'll just use it as an analogy. When you're young, you wanted to be an actor on stage and screen, but you're in a family where, no, we're all academics, and you're just going to go to university and you're going to do that because that's the thing to do in this family. And so maybe you got to do a bit of it if you became an academic, a little bit of it by getting up and sort of presenting, you know, as a lecturer or something, but it's not really what you want to do. And this is saying that right now, it's like walking away from anything that gets in the way of a new beginning that's what you really want to do. So this is almost got, it's not midlife crisis feeling to it because, you know, you could be any age, but it's a bit like that. It's like going, you know what? I'm going to do what I want now. Even if it means, you know, I've wasted some time, there's plenty of time left and I'm going to do it, even if people tell me I shouldn't. That's the energy we're getting here. So let's look at some support for you. So firstly, I just want to get a little bit more about any other past life insights that are important to you being able to use this advice. The Weaver's Shuttle, interlacing threads of fate, creating connections or crafting the fabric of communities. So I think that you've done a lot in the past about helping other people find their fate and their community and their people. Sorry, I've just knocked the camera there a couple of times. This is an ability that you can now use for yourself. And the Smith's Anvil, a history of forging through adversity, shaping destinies with strength and resilience. You're very strong. Don't doubt yourself. You've brought a lot of strength through and a lot of connections and able to sort of do this for others. It's now time to use your strength. Like I feel like with the earth medicine and magic here as a pathway into this reading, it's almost like someone who forges Excalibur. Like it's like there is a lot of magic that goes into what you do. You can now use that for yourself. And you've done that in past lives. It's sort of like there's a foundation for it. Talking about magic, let's see what magic you bring to this. Protection, set personal boundaries. You need to use some of your own magic to set boundaries around this so you protect yourself moving forward. You've got all the skills, but boy, you've got some people who would rather argue with you about all of this. So let's see what kind of chakra energy you can have in balance or need to get into balance to best deal with this. Because there is a kind of a painful process before you're going to get to what you want, but you will get to what you want. You've got all the skills and ability. You'll catch up, you know. You're not going to, you know, this is the time to do something you've always really wanted to do. So root chakra, underactive, I am disconnected. Yeah, connect back to the past. Connect back to what it is that you really want to do. And third eye, I see and can lack clarity over activity. Yeah, you're kind of responding too much. I actually think that some of you are probably very telepathic, very empathic, but very telepathic, particularly with the third eye. It can be hard when you are that to know what is you and what is someone else. So I think this would be saying take some time out, meditate, and get very clear on what you want, because I feel like you're like a receiver of energy from others at the moment. And sacral chakra, underactive, I feel a lack of creativity. Yeah, you've really pushed it down, largely because you're getting crowded out by everybody else's thoughts, beliefs, energies, and so forth. You're very psychic. You are very magical, but it's like you don't have the boundaries at the moment. This is the thing. You know, connect to you, put the boundaries around this, and that will reawaken whatever this creative thing, and it feels very creative. It does feel like something that is not of necessarily conventional work or conventional sort of relationships even, whatever it is. There's sort of a shift towards your true self. So let's see what stars could guide you around that. Scorpio, magic again, passion, intensity, secrecy. You might have to keep some of this secret. Very deep. You're very, very deep, very, very psychic. And very, very magical. Scorpio to me is the sign that governs over high magic. Like, it doesn't mean you have to be a Scorpio to be magical, but it's very much that energy, and it's being able to go into the depths and intensely see things for what they are. So use that. Know that you're powerful enough to look at it, even if some of it's painful. And dark moon, endings, experience, integration, advice. Yeah, there are some things you need to move away from. And it is a little bit of a dark night of the soul, but it is towards the sun of the Fool card, of the new creative energy being reborn. Okay, so let's get you some straight talking then. So straight talking tarot to just see anything else Spirit wants to say before we sort of close out with reintegrating it back to the way that you came in and some signs and symbols to use. So firstly, think about it. Yeah. If this feels a bit overwhelming, sit back and think about it. Remember your Queen of Swords there. Your mind's very sharp. When you think about it, this is going to become very clear. And you'll think about what happened when you were young. Something happened when you were young. Might have been something quite subtle, so you need to really think back and remember it. Then we have prosperity reversed. I think it's interesting, this falling around protection and this. I think that the energy of what's coming into you is cutting you off from prosperity. This is why you have to think about it. While you stay in this energy thing where everybody in a sense has a claim on your energetic field and a claim on your magic, you're not building your own prosperity. As I said, like, even though it didn't necessarily show up around the past that you were doing this in the past for others, I think you probably were. I think that some of you have used your magical ability for powerful people before you made other people prosperous. It's time for you to do it. And heal. Yeah, there's a healing that needs to go on, but that you will heal. You know, you will heal. You have the strength for this. So remember, we came in with earth, medicine, and magic, cast their spells. You are able to draw this in. And I think this is actually, again, like, instead of the third eye, instead of all the other people's things coming in, getting kind of your guidance from the divine, but it's interesting, it's almost going in somewhere sort of closer to the third eye. It's a little bit lower in the third eye rather than the crown chakra, but there's something direct to you, something direct. So I think that there is an energy here of connecting back to your divine magic, being able to cast the spells you need to protect yourself and then move towards what you want. You're more than capable of doing this, pile 2. So let's see some signs and symbols to help you as well. Firstly, death, releasing the past, loss, grief, completion, new beginnings. This is not about, death is in Tarot's history. We had death reversed here and then death here. This is, I think, a dual message. It is you taking back the choice, because death in tarot is about choice and change. But it is about change. This is about releasing the past. You've got to let go of the past. And there might be some grief in it, or it might be painful, but, new beginnings come when you do that. So think of it as that. This is not about you dying. This is about shifting from the past into your future, like being reborn, like literally back to the Fool. But you have all the skills and abilities to move forward. If you feel like you've lost time, don't worry about it. Just move forward. And this is funny. Toilet. I was thinking, like, when I see this deck is about lucid dreaming, and it's about things that we see in our dreams. And this is, you may see these. I often dream about trying to find a toilet. Usually just means I need to go to the toilet when I wake up. But that's why I sort of chuckle if I see this card coming out. Detoxing, catharsis, shame and embarrassing, cleansing, renewal. If there's any kind of shame, embarrassment put on you, anybody says you're letting them down, whatever it might be, you're meant to just detox and heal from that. There's something that literally needs to be ended and flushed down the toilet. That's what it's saying. There is something like that. And own that and be happy with that and move on to what you really want to do. Pile 2. That's what Spirit is asking you here. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So these are the 6 areas that I talked about that we're going to explore at first with the Akashic Record for you. So romance and partnership, friends and family, career and business, money and investments, health and well-being, and personal and spiritual growth. We will come back to soul stories, but if I think it particularly connects into something I'm talking about, I'll mention it as I go through. As I said, of all the things to find soul stories for an Akashic Record, I do think this will be, even if it has very practical life areas here that we're talking about, I think it will be very spiritual, this particular reading, and I think that 6th area will be very, very crucial. But let's see what we get. So we're just going to shuffle and get a card of advice and information for each life area to start with. Then we'll move to tarot. But starting with romance and or partnership. Sorry, I almost dropped a card. I always feel like I need to reshuffle when that's the case. Romance and or partnership for pile 3. Trust in yourself. You've got this. You've worked hard to get this far and you have the ability to create the things you desire. Learning to trust in yourself and your abilities will take you to your highest timeline. So trusting in yourself about your decisions, whether it's about romance or partnerships more generally. I feel like there's something, like this card came up in a different position in another reading, and I feel like the way that the library is here, like there's some orderly stuff over here, but then there's almost the quirky sort of stuff over here. This is like you understanding where you connect with others similarly and also where you're very individual and different. And I think that's really important around trusting, that you're going to find the right partnerships. This could be saying, particularly around romance, that you're looking for your soul twin or your soul person and haven't found them yet, and you've got to trust in yourself to do it. Or if you think you have but you're not sure, trust your instincts. Friends and family. Patience. Your desired result isn't arriving fast enough for you, and the universe is asking you not to give up just yet. Everything comes in divine time. Perhaps there is something to learn or karma to clear before it will arrive. If there's some sort of issue around friends or family, it is saying that this is going to take time, and there could be some karma associated with it. So if you are trusting in yourself to find the right partner to create your own family and you feel like it's not occurring quickly as you'd like, understand maybe there's some karma and other things. There's something, but I mean, karma is going to be very important to this one. It's of course important to all Akashic Records readings, but the fact that you came to soul stories is really makes me think soulmate, soul twin, soul family, that kind of thing. If you feel you want to find your soul family and you haven't yet, there may be stuff you need to clear to be able to bring it in. Life area, career and business. A new beginning. This card is putting you on notice that a change is at hand. You may feel like things are falling apart, but that's only to make room for the new. Be open to synchronicities and be willing to take risks at this time. So that's a bit like getting the Tower card. And I always think the Tower card is a lot better than people think. Like I think it clears the way for new things to come in. Certainly if you're feeling stuck in a career, it's a great thing to see. Like a new opportunity is coming, something that will, a job will appear that you can apply for. It might also be that you're in an organisation that is going through change and you have the opportunity to leverage that to get a new role or a new job or move into a new industry or have the resources to do that, to have time to look for that. It could be your industry is changing, but it's saying be aware that a new beginning, a new opportunity is coming there. So that's good. That's. I think there is something that you move away from, but it's towards something better. How then do we look at money and investments at the moment in your life? Depleted. You are overgiving and not taking enough time to rest and rejuvenate. Reevaluate your relationships and commitments, or you may soon risk a health deteriorating in some way. Well, this is monetary health. So, okay, if you are going through some sort of change and you leave a job or a job disappears, obviously take care with what you're spending in that period of time. A new beginning is coming, but you could deplete your reserves. Otherwise, I think this is saying that if you are spending money to make yourself feel better because of a situation where you're not sort of like jumping into the new or whatever, you're staying stuck or stagnant in a situation, you're just depleting your own health as well by this. So it'll be interesting to see how this connects. It's sort of like there is a direct connection between the resources that you have materially and how good you feel. But it may be that you are using the resources to feel good. It's like, if I'm not happy in a job or I'm not feeling that I'm getting what I need from friendships or whatever it is, okay, I'll go out shopping, retail therapy. Just be aware of that as an energy. I'm sure we've all done that at times in our lives. Let's then see what health and wellness is saying. Acceptance. You may be disappointed with a recent outcome. Remember, if one door closes, you are being redirected to one that will soon open to your true soul path. Yeah, there's something going on here. If it's a relationship that didn't work out, then trust in yourself that you did the right thing and the right one's coming in. And that could be the case, but it could also just be that there's a shift going on, particularly in the material world. Accept that. Know that it's okay. Don't overcompensate for it. A new beginning is coming. It's just it was necessary, but it just sort of feels like you have to kind of go, okay, I get that, and it's actually going to be for the good rather than worrying about it. And then go back to trusting in yourself, having a bit of patience around those around you if they're pushing you to do certain things and you're waiting for the right new beginning, for instance. And then, as I say, I really think this is going to be critical because of critical as in important, not as in critical of you, because of the fact that we had soul stories. So what's going on around personal and spiritual growth in this period? Obligation. Stop telling yourself you should. When you cater to others or to unnecessary expectations of yourself, you stop your flow of abundance. Okay, the other possibility is that you're giving to a lot of other people, financially and so forth, which is affecting your abundance. You're looking after a lot of people. There's something here. I think there's a kind of almost a karmic, because we're talking about soul stories, almost a sense that you have to almost make up for something. You have to look after everybody else, or you have commitments and obligations, and maybe some of the people you're doing that with are trying your patience. And because you're meant to shift past that, it's almost like the universe is going, okay, we're going to shake things up a bit around your career, your finances and everything. Not because you are going to have a huge issue with it, because a new beginning is coming in, but because it allows you to shake free some of the commitments and obligations that are not genuine, that have become habitual maybe. So, okay, it's interesting. So let's have a look. We're going to use tarot, and we're going to firstly get a little bit more about the core message. Then we're going to look at how the past has impacted this, so past lives, even past history in this life. And then we're going to look at what the future focus is of this message. So firstly, just a little bit more about what's going on here. We have the 7 of Pentacles, the 5 of Swords, Strength reversed, the Emperor. Yeah, a lot of this has to do with career stuff, I've got to say. Monetary things, the Devil, yeah. The Queen of Cups. So, I think the first thing the Spirit wants you to know is everything's going to be okay. If you are worried about depleting financial things, when something's going to come through, this is an investment, and it's like a bridge. See how there's a bridge from where you're sort of like a bit isolated over to where there is new growth. So there is a sense here that even though things feel a bit tumultuous and maybe people are letting you down, or you're feeling obligated, or you're wondering how you're going to be able to support everybody that you feel like you have to support, you are going to move to a better outcome. This is what this is all about. And understanding that, knowing that the one thing you have to do is cross that, not stay isolated here, but cross that bridge, do the change, take the new beginning. That's the understanding you need, because staying where you are depletes your strength. You're meant to lead. This is part of the reason you have the obligation, actually. That you are a natural leader. You are sort of someone who probably would look after many other people. You have a great generosity of spirit, all of that kind of thing. And you are meant to be powerful, and you are meant to be successful. So even if this is sort of something going on in a career or an industry that is difficult, it's happening to kind of push you into something new that is actually going to do better for you. But you have to understand that your environment, what you deal with, has a lot of places where you can get tied up or bound. You have to get back to what matters to you emotionally, because it's like there's a lot about power here. Like, I think for many of you, you are in a position of power, a position of reasonable wealth or whatever, or you're a bit older and you have obligations that way. You might have family obligations. If you've got family obligations, they're trying your patience, I've got to say. So there's all those sort of things, and you are in that kind of realm. You are powerful. So that's always going to be the case. The issue for you around this is that there is a situation that you're in, and it's probably a job or a material situation in some way, that you've got to move on from. And this is the opportunity to get more in touch with what you feel and to kind of balance that out, because, as I say, there's a lot of obligations that have been put on you. So it'll be interesting to sort of see what we've got in terms of the earlier part of this life or past lives with that sort of profile. Nine of Wands, 3 of Cups reversed, 9 of Swords, 8 of Pentacles reversed, King of Wands reversed. Yeah. Either in this life, this could be in this life, because it does look like you're relatively powerful or successful, or you're going to be, and this whole thing is about getting you there, but you've got to kind of work out the environment you're dealing with, and you're almost being put through a test run of that, maybe with family or friends, that's going to become an issue in the work environment or the career environment. But I feel like this is talking more about a past life. I feel like, or a number of them, but I feel there's at least one where there was a lot of anxiety, and that was, whatever the journey was, it was a long journey, and you didn't really know a lot of the time whether it was going to work out. You couldn't necessarily always trust everybody around you with 3 of Cups reversed. You might outright have been betrayed by people. You had the skills. You outskilled everybody, basically. You're a master at what you were doing, but there was a lot of treachery around. So I think this is maybe there are karmic issues around now, and maybe there are people around, friends or family around you, who were people who betrayed you in a past life, like they literally did. And yet they've come in with some sense of obligation, Like they've come in, like they've almost come into roles. Like what it feels like is you're like a parent and they could be your children, or you're like the leader within a friend group and they've been drawn to that. And it's almost as though they've created an obligation by appearing weaker, but it's very draining. And these people, you're meant to cut them off because the reality is they betrayed you in the past. And if you hang around them any longer, they'll betray you in the future. That's really what this is saying. Now, it might be only one or two people. I'm not saying get rid of everybody in your life. It may be just people that are in a work environment at the moment. If you move on to another work environment, it's done and done. But I definitely think wherever you feel an obligation, or where people have almost acted like, well, you owe me this or something like that, then you need to be wary of what's going on, because it's not what it appears. Okay, so let's see about what the future energy is then therefore meant to be. The Tower reversed, the Page of Cups, the Six of Cups, the Four of Swords reversed, the Empress. Future's going to be a lot better. Once you've kind of got past this, it's a lot better, a lot better. You can do this incrementally. It's saying you don't have, like even if it's a work thing, I don't think it's likely that you're going to lose your job. You could just potentially leverage some changes in the industry to do something new. You're more in control of this change than you think you might be. And you can also incrementally shift and determine who you want to still have in your life, and you can be patient with, and who you go, no, actually enough's enough. So you're in control of the change. And Spirit is saying, being really clear on what you want things to feel like, almost on an innocent level. If you could go back to childhood and start again on all of this, what would you want it to feel like? That's to be your guiding star. You have to speak out a bit more about what you want, but you are going to be successful. So anything resource-wise, any of those sort of things, you're heading towards abundance. This is all to head you on a better path, but there's a lot about the people around. There's a lot of people from past lives around you. And there will be some that are good, definitely, but there are some that you have to really kind of cut off. There's something about this circumstance and where you're being depleted financially or emotionally, or obligations are put on you, or where changes are being forced materially in some way. It's all meant to free you, and you're going to be more in control of this than you think. That's why it's important to know what you really, really want and speak about that, because you're meant to bring in abundance. So this will be to the good, but it feels a bit uncomfortable, I have to say. It's interesting, all the readings have been a bit like this. I think that this is maybe when you hit something with the Akashic Record is there's always going to be a bit of discomfort, because you're balancing out the past with what you want in the future. And there's always lessons and challenges with that. So let's get you some other advice. So firstly, let's get any other things from past lives that could be advice or insights that help you going forward. So firstly, the Liberator's Chain, lifetimes dedicated to freeing oneself and others from physical, mental, or spiritual shackles. Yeah, I think that there was a lot of conflict. You're very good at it, though. You're very good at this. So liberating yourself, you have the natural ability to do this, and therefore to help others who deserve the help. But you are a bit of a person with a cause. You're a force to be reckoned with. So that's interesting. And the Baker's Hearth, life spent nourishing others, sharing warmth as a central figure in community gatherings. So, okay, so this is the thing. You've had some lives where this sort of sense of leadership and so forth has been incredibly warm and incredibly wonderful, and there are probably people in your life that come from that there's a really good connection with, where the community energy was nourishing to you and to them. And so one side of you almost innocently goes with that and takes on the obligation. But you've also had lives where you've liberated others from false control, all of that kind of thing. And there's a bit of both of those two things clashing at the moment. You're meant to liberate yourself from the karma, the soul stories that were betraying and difficult and nasty, and heading towards those that are healthful. And you've had experience with both, so you'll be able to recognize that energy. So let's see the magic that you have and that you bring to this. All three. Samadhi. Perfect acceptance. Yeah, I think this is the thing. There's a kind of a Zen sort of feeling to this, of knowing that you have the skills to deal with the reversals of fortune, or the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, as the bard would have it. You have that. But there's also the acceptance of that this change is going to help you and bring back the kind of Baker's Hearth. So you don't have to do a lot beyond making the decision to just move forward. It's like, and the rest, you're going to find you're more in control of it with the Tower reverse than you possibly thought you were going to be. Let's then get you some chakra energy for what you need to balance or what you can leverage if you have balanced energy in any of the chakras. So let's see what we get. So firstly, we have the heart chakra. Underactive. I love but isolate myself. Yeah, this is this card here. This is exactly it. It's like you have your own kingdom, you have your own power, but you've isolated yourself. This is about connecting to the right people. And it may mean leaving those who appear to be in this more isolated kingdom but aren't making you feel connected and supported to move towards those that would. But there's a kind of a world weariness to this. And I think, in this life you've been bitten a few too many times. So, but this is saying don't isolate yourself. There are good people around you as well. And you just need to make the changes to move towards that. Then we have the solar plexus chakra. Underactive. I do have a victim mindset right now. So if you're relating to this and thinking, then yes, you're right. But equally, don't just stay in the victim mindset. Go into your power because you also have the power. This is happening because you have the power. So it's like claiming that back. And then we have the root chakra. I am feeling like I belong. I think this is the promise when you do that. But I think it's also a bit of a hint, and it's interesting it's that with the Baker's Hearth. If you're around friends, family, workplaces, industries, whatever this is, and you feel like you belong, that's a really good sign. If you feel that you're being victimized or not understood or you're isolated, that's the sign to move on. These are all kind of signposts on the road, I think, for you to work out what to change. So let's also get you some stars to be signposts as well. Mintaka, which is a constellation, nostalgia, belonging, community. I'm going to put this over here. There's nostalgia here too. There are good things. There are good people. There may even have been good people that you connected with before, you worked with before, good people in your family that were great before. There's something like that will help. That it's not all doom and gloom. It's just that there's some things some shackles you have to free yourself from, just as you've freed others in the past. And Neptune, depths, dreams, illusion, imagination. I think this is a dual message. Part of the fear of this, part of the obligation that's been put on you, all of this, part of that is illusory. Like see through the illusion. But Neptune is also ideal. So what was your ideal? Reconnecting to your ideal community. And it's psychic. So connecting to your psychic energy and going within dreams, symbols or whatever. At the end of this, we're going to get a couple of symbols for you or signs or synchronicities that may well turn up in dreams. So I think that could be very important. This is very, as I say, it's weird. It's looking like it's a very much a material decision, but it's a very spiritual decision to clear a lot of karma and to connect with your soul family, I think. And also potentially a soulmate or something like that, if that's something that you're looking to do. Let's get you some very 3D stuff, some really straight talking advice as well too around the situation. Shine your own light. So yeah, you have the light and it's your light. Don't give it away to others. Don't be seduced. Some might actually try to kind of flatter you to keep you or tell you, seduce you in some way to make you continue to give to them. Don't be seduced. Yeah. Those that are offering you something that seems to be special, it's not what it appears. You don't need this. You don't need other people. You don't need their approval. You don't need their resources, whatever it is. Don't be seduced by that. Look where you can best shine your light. Okay, so if we go back to how you come in, soul stories. As I say, this tells me that this, although it feels very material, it feels very material. It feels very much around career, finance, vocation, the path that you follow, how you're generous and how you could be exploited by being generous, friends and family sort of like irritations and things you have to sort through, trusting yourself about who you would want to love, all that kind of thing. It feels very, very material. I think that this is very, very spiritual. This is about clearing a lot of karma and finding your soul family. I think this is really what it's all about. So let's have a look at just a couple of signs and symbols to close the reading. And as I said, they'll be very important for you. That might help you also in reclaiming your power, taking this new beginning, knowing that you have all the skills you need to do that, and finding your soul tribe, pile 3. So firstly, we get face, identity, integrity, confidence, emotions, authenticity, health. This is saying, yeah, like look them in the face, read what their expressions are, all of that kind of thing. And like, who are you? Who are you showing to the world? If you, actually, I'm getting that for some of you in dreams, if you sort of see somebody in a dream and you think, oh, that's Uncle Arthur, but it doesn't look like Uncle Arthur, that's spirit telling you that Uncle Arthur isn't what he appears, and that kind of thing. So like, pay attention to that sort of thing. Do people look in dreams? If you dream about people that you know, do they look like they look in real life? If they do, that's showing authenticity. You've seen their real face. If not, this might be telling you a bit more about who they are. Okay, or even who you might have been when you knew them in a past life. And crying, unprocessed grief, hidden feelings, loss, pain, sadness. You may feel the need to release grief around this. If you feel like you want to cry or whatever for no particular reason, just allow yourself to do it. Otherwise, I think it's also, I kind of almost get that for some, you may get a false face of crying. Like if you're pushing back, it could be also saying be very wary of that, like whether it's real. Some people may cry and you know, so if it's your grief, that's fine, let it go because you're bringing in something new. But if this is someone who's showing you a crying face, be aware it could be manipulative. Because I feel like there's going to be a pushback when you go, no, you know, I'm not going to keep funding all your things, or I'm not going to, you know, look after all of you and deplete my own resources. I'm going after what I need to go after, and I'm going to find my soul family. So, yeah, and there could be sort of the moving of a lot of karma there. That is the crying energy as well too, as that's released. But this is really about understanding who your friends are and who aren't, and trusting your instincts about that, and trusting your own power, and moving forward to find your soul family. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. It's a bit of a hard message, but it's also got a lot of promise in it. So I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.